just going to share a testimony here. I was out near Auburn a couple weeks ago, and I knocked on this one door, and no one was answering, but I thought I heard someone around the back, so I walked around, and there was a couple having a romantic dinner together, and I was like, aw. But I started showing them the books, and eventually I got around to the Desire of Ages, and I kept talking about that book, and I said, you know, I've been using this for devotions in the morning. It's really good. And they looked at each other, and they're like, yeah. They're like, you know, we've been wanting to do devotions together for a while. She said that she was doing devotions with the women's group in her church, and he had been doing devotions with the guys group from his church. And they'd been wanting to do it together as a couple, and I said, yes, this would be perfect. You should start doing it together. And so she's like, yeah, okay. And so she ran in to get her checkbook, and so the guy and I were just sitting up there, and so I was like, well, while we have time, I'll just show you the great controversy here. And so I told him about it, and he's like super interested. So when his wife came back out, he's like, hey, do you mind if we get this one too? And she's like, oh, okay, sure. And so it was just a really neat experience, and it's just nice to see couples and families being brought together, not only by you know, different activities, but by spiritual activities where they can bond, and you know, Jesus can bind them tighter than anything else in this world. And so I'm just very grateful for families that are, you know, looking to grow closer to God together.
My testimony reminds me of the verse in Jeremiah 33:3 that says, call unto me, and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. And I have a beautiful testimony to share this morning that has to do with the power of prayer and how God answered two of my very specific prayers that I've been praying. I had been praying for over a week that God would lead me to someone who told me that they really appreciated what I was doing, and that they were thankful that I came to their door, and that they had been seeking for a deeper relationship with the Lord. And so I was praying that prayer specifically, that someone would tell me that. And it was towards the end of the week, and it was towards the end of the day, an hour before we were supposed to finish up. It was around 8 o'clock, and I started praying that God would also give me a divine appointment or a beautiful experience at the last door that I would knock on that day. And sure enough, it was almost 9 o'clock when we were about to quit, and I walked up to this door, and I knocked on it, and this young lady answered. She was probably in her late 20s, early 30s, and I started with showing her our cookbook, 7 Secrets, and she was really interested in it. She said that she was wanting to be healthier, and she had started a new diet, and she was trying to exercise. And so I really encouraged her in that, and she was excited about getting this cookbook and trying some new recipes in it. And then I proceeded to show her, I think it was Steps to Christ was the second one that I showed her, which is called Peace Above the Storm. And I showed her Steps to Christ, and she was like, wow, she's like, thank you so much for coming. She said, I just so appreciate you being here. She said, it's funny that you were to stop by tonight. And I said, really, why? And she said, because recently I've just been digging into my Bible and wanting to have a deeper relationship with the Lord. And when I heard that, I almost started crying. I was like, Lord, you know, that was a direct answer to prayer. And she continued to share with me that she had been starting Bible studies in her church, and that she had just been learning more about Jesus and who he was. And so after that, I showed her The Desire of Ages, of course. And I said, this book will tell you all about who Jesus is, and Steps to Christ will tell you how to have a deep personal relationship with him. And I just shared a testimony of how these books have changed my life, how many times I've read them and been blessed by them. And she was so excited, but she didn't want to spend too much money, and so she brought out her checkbook, and she ended up just choosing 7 Secrets cookbook and Peace Above the Storm. And that's wonderful, but I really had a burden on my heart for her to get The Desire of Ages too. And I mentioned it to her a few times. I tried to show it to her again, and she's like, yeah, I really like this book, but I should just get 2. And it's like, yeah, I understand money is often tight. So she wrote out a check for the 2 books, but I just felt impressed again. I need to really encourage her to get this book. And so I said to her, I said, listen, I said, I know money is tight. I said, but this will be an investment that will be worth all of eternity. I said, you will never regret getting this book. I said, please. I said, you need to take it. I said, it will teach you more about Jesus and about how much he loves you. And she said, okay. So she took the book and she voided her check and she wrote out another one. And I was able to have prayer with her. And it wasn't really until I walked away from that door that I fully realized how God had answered two of my very specific prayers that I had been praying. And I just praise God for that. He's such a loving God. And I know that she told me, she said, I'm going to read these books as soon as possible. She said, I can't wait to get into them.